Hi, Joni here. In today's video I will talk about why the Trump administration is the most un-American administration ever. But before that, my latest fundraiser is still up and running. It has gone really well thanks to all of you, and I want to thank you. And again, for those of you who haven't had the time to look into it yet, there is the link to the website on the description of this video. On the website you can find more information about the fundraiser, you can see which units are getting the trucks, and that's also where you can donate if you want to. Let's finish this fundraiser as soon as possible to get the 3 trucks to the 3 Ukrainian units that badly need them. Thank you again. Slava Ukraini. Let's get to the video. The Trump administration is the most un-American administration ever. There are a few traditional American characteristics and values that have not changed no matter who is in power. And that is not the case anymore. Historically, the US has always cared about free speech. The US has also always defended the concept of democracy around the world. And by doing so, it has also opposed authoritarian regimes around the world. The US has also always defended Christian values. The US has always supported the concept of market economy, and it hasn't only fought communism but also excessive protectionism. The US has always valued meritocracy, and diversity too. Diversity has always been one of its main strengths. Almost everyone in the US has some background from somewhere else, and this diversity has actually been celebrated too. Finally, Americans have always appreciated hard work and perseverance. Americans are supposed to be tough and deal with their own issues. The Trump administration fights against all these values and traditions. It only accepts free speech when it goes its way. J.D. Vance likes to lecture Europe about free speech, but he's not only wrong, he's also a massive hypocrite. The US just denied entry to a French researcher just because he had disagreed with Donald Trump. Is that free speech? Trump and Musk also keep attacking any media that criticizes them, and Trump often claims that it should be illegal to do so. This administration also has an almost total control over social media, and it uses it to control the rhetoric. The Trump administration hates real freedom of speech. But freedom of speech is not the only thing they hate. They also hate democracy. Trump actually attempted a coup in 2021. And many in the Trump administration are fans of Curtis Yarvin. He's someone who actually hates democracy. Some people around Trump are even talking about a third term. These people are pathetic. They hate democracy so much that they keep attacking democratic allies of the US. And they do that while defending authoritarian regimes around the world. Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia are among Trump's favorite countries. He keeps praising Putin and Xi. The US is betraying its allies and turning against Ukraine. And by doing that, the US projects so much weakness. The US is supposed to be strong, but it has never been as weak as it is now. The situation is insane. Reagan would really turn crazy if he would see what's going on. But freedom of speech, democracy, and foreign policy are not the only things where this administration is extremely un-American. This administration couldn't be more opposed to Christian values than it is. Trump is a rapist and he's surrounded by rapists and criminals. He also celebrates sexual offenders and got the Tate brothers back in the US. He was Epstein's best friend. And raping is not the only crime these people celebrate. They are also massive grifters. They are scamming people with meme coins and Bibles. They are taking away from those that are the poorest. They're even cutting aid from the third world. Anyone in the world is more Christian than the people in this administration. They represent the opposite of Christian values. They are the biggest fake Christians out there. Supporting this administration is the least Christian thing someone can do. But that's not all. This administration is also an oligarchy. A group of foreign-born billionaires has basically taken over the US. And you can combine that with tons of nepotism. This administration is a new and racist version of DEI. Family and friends get all the key positions. Qualifications don't matter. This is the least qualified administration ever. Loyalty is favored over anything else. Economically, this is also a very un-American administration. This administration is all about tariffs and high public debt. They really love deficits. A third of total US public debt is actually from Trump's first term. And it won't get better during this term. And yet many fiscally conservative people voted for him. You can't call yourself fiscally conservative if you're voting for Donald Trump. Trump and his friends are corrupt scammers who want the state to save them. It's a classic case where they don't want the state to intervene for others, but it has to intervene for them every time. They will always blame the state, but they will always use it to their advantage. It's very un-American to expect the state to save you. But these people are the masters of double standards. And finally, the last very un-American thing that these people do is to constantly victimize themselves. These people just love complaining. All you ever hear from Trump, Musk, and J.D. Vance is complaining. They are real snowflakes. They keep claiming that the system that they actually run is rigged against them. I really wonder how long they will have to be in power for people to get tired of that excuse. There are almost no checks and balances left at this point. They run all key institutions. They are the deep state that they talk about. It's insane. They're just pathetic snowflakes. A bunch of weak, pathetic nerds combined with some schoolyard bullies. Except they have money and power. And they lie about everything. And their biggest worry is Tesla's stock. Musk is really scared because he really wants to avoid a margin call. So he goes on TV to cry about people not liking him. He's harming the whole world every day, but yet he can't understand that people don't like him. These people are purely evil. Supporting this administration is actually a mental illness and it should be treated as such. Of course, there are people who are actually just evil and support them, and we can't do much about that other than try to stop them. But there are many good people who have fallen for the cycle of conspiracy theories and lies, and these people are actually sick. We need to try to help them and welcome them with open arms and compassion. It's the only way. But to conclude, this is the most un-American administration, but also the worst administration in history. Is there any point that I missed in this video? If I did, write them in the comments. That was it for today's video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to share the fundraiser and donate if you can. Thank you. See you in the next video. Slava Ukraini.